What was the largest amount of money you made in options trading, and what was the largest amount of money you lost?
Individual trades, probably plus or minus 300 at a time, which is crazy for option swings.
In a day?
Well, yeah.
Like 0 day or weeklies?
Well, so one example was, it was awesome. I made a bet on Tesla, and it was a 1 week option. And I said, I'm going to hold this over the weekend. And then there was news over the weekend. I think I fluked into it, but I saw that the volatility was really, really low. So and this is a lesson for anybody who trades options. I like buying options when the volatility is low, the historic volatility, because they're cheaper to buy. And I like selling options when the volatility is high. It's very simple. You could look at historic volatility graphs. Not everybody's into options, but I think Alpha Query has some good options. Bloomberg Terminal, Refinitiv Terminal. There are plenty of tools you could look at these, but most people don't. It's just, I want this option because I feel this. So it was a low volatility entry, and there was news over the weekend. And when you go from low volatility and add in news, volatility skyrockets. So the options premium went through the roof. And within 10 minutes of market open, I'm like, get me out. I'm taking my profits. Had I held on, I probably would have made another 30%. But that's always how it is, right? You always sell and then it goes up even more.
Jack has a great option strategy that all of us call kind of dumb. Okay. But Jack swears by it. And we're not going to go too deep in the weeds here because he'll talk to you for an hour about it. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about it.
Selling calls?
Yeah, I'm just selling covered calls on stocks that I think are either fair valued, maybe a little rich, maybe a little bit cheap, but they have the high implied volatility. Yeah. And so something like Robinhood, which I think is a pretty blue chip stock, you can get 2 to 3% selling weekly covered calls.
Yes.
And realistically, you're going to make your money back. Or if you just consider as decreasing your average cost by 3% per week, if the stock goes up, I don't really care if it gets called away from me because the only way that I see it is in terms of a weekly percent change. And an annualized return is only just 52 weeklies combined. And if you can make on average 2 to 3%, if everything goes according to plan, if it doesn't, it's fine because you're still holding Robinhood and you made 2 to 3% on the premium.
Right.
Like I don't see how you can lose except for the tax consequences. Those can be pretty brutal. Sure. But I've been doing it in my Roth IRA and it's been going extremely well. Even with QQQ.
Doing it in your Roth is brilliant.
QQQ, you can still make like 30% annually selling dailies because they have daily options.
So Jack's question is this.
Yeah.
Why isn't everyone making 90% a year selling call options?
That's not necessarily my
But that's what he implied.
Because the market makers take all the money. I hate to say that, but the more options volatility there is, the bigger the spreads are, and the market makers never lose. I like that strategy, what you're saying. If you're like, I'm married to the stock, I want to hold it, great. In fairness, Robinhood has also gone from $140 down to $70. I like Robinhood. I happen to actually like Vlad, and I actually think it's at a fair price, right? It shouldn't be down this low. But a lot of finance stocks are down, so it's not just Robinhood. Like SoFi went from like $35 down to 16, right? It's just, we are in a momentum-driven market right now. And what's sexy right now is hardware and nothing else. Software's in the toilet, finance stocks are in the toilet, real estate stocks are in the toilet. Some of the pharmaceuticals aren't even doing well right now, which is crazy. So we're momentum driven. That's why Bitcoin, people are like, wow, well, the stock market's at all-time highs. Why is Bitcoin not at all-time highs? Well, it's not at all-time highs because that's not where the momentum is right now. The momentum is in hardware stocks. That's it. So who makes money in the meantime? The market makers. That's why all the betting markets love people betting on like the stupidest, most random crap ever because the spreads are the widest. The bigger the spread, the more money they make. They don't make a lot of money on you selling options on the Qs because the spreads are really tight. They're going to make more money on Robinhood. But in fairness, a lot of your option money is probably getting paid by the YOLO weekly buyer.
Yes, that is exactly right. That's why you have to go to Wall Street Bets and find the people that are shooting that volatility up and like paying crazy rich prices. Yes. Where if you're getting 3% on a blue chip stock,
great.
Like the thing is, even if the stock goes down, it doesn't matter because it's such a large percentage relative to the share of the stock that like, I don't understand how you can go wrong.
Jack doesn't understand that he could have his shares called away. The stock pops 15%.
But that's fine.
And then he's saying, well, I'll buy back in. And then he buys back in and the stock drops 15%.
But is that going to happen every single week?
It's going to happen. I think you'll average probably less than if you had just held the stock and done nothing.
I think that is possible, but this is more predictable.
Yeah, I mean, it's how much work do you want to put into it too?
For me, all I do is
like
the top of the week, Monday, I just sell a call on Robinhood. And I'm doing a test right now because we collaborated with the money guys.
Nice.
And we went back and forth on this strategy. And I was like, guys, I've never done it like weekly because it's just never been worth my time. And everyone tells me it's a dumb idea. So I just believe what they say. And so I'm like, I'm not going to do it. But now because we're all in a group chat, I can add you to the group chat and I send my reports. Every week. And we're on week
I will
2,
say.
And guess who's up 3% in 1 week?
Let's go. What's interesting is there are a lot of hedge funds and financial advisors who know that there are so many people who are buying these short-term options that you can make some spread. So, yeah, you are picking up onto something that institutions love.
You have to go into the stocks that have the high volatility, the stocks that everyone's super hyped about, because realistically, if you try to sell calls on something with a bunch of volume, like you want to sell calls on Apple, like no one is going out there buying weekly calls on Apple because they think it's going to pop, right? Unless if maybe they're doing a new drop or release. But on something like Robinhood that dropped as much as it did, everyone is just waiting for it to completely skyrocket, which even if it does and I get the bag called away, it doesn't matter.
The bag. Oh.
To me, the way I see it, it doesn't matter because I still made my 3%.
That's fair.
So yeah, I agree with you. If you go to the ones where everyone's chasing the money, then it's...
It's funny, and that's why so much of this makes me think like the Millennial Money podcast could be like all over this, right? The good old days, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because I feel like a lot of us, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but it certainly seems like you guys and me to some extent here feel like, hey, like there's so much to talk about in finance, but we are also so removed from that daily struggle of, filling up the tank or your credit card bills or, wanting to get ahead and get a home, or you're having a baby and it's like, crap, these are a lot of expenses. So it's fun to talk about all these things, but I go back to like the early part of the pod where we're like, man, how does this affect like the consumer, that regular person? And I think every single year from now, over the next 10 years, it's just going to get harder and harder and harder. So if there's any motivation to leave from all of this, I would say the sooner you can grind and make more money now, the better, because it's just going to keep getting harder.
If you have a cat, you know that keeping them healthy is a non-negotiable. And a big part of that really just comes down to diet. By choosing a quality cat food, you're buying more time with your cat and giving them a happier, healthier life.
That's exactly why we are so excited to partner with Smalls. Smalls is fresh, human-grade cat food that does so much more than just feed your cat. It helps them live a full, healthy life.
Not only is Smalls healthier for your cat, but it also noticeably improves their energy. In fact, 88% of cat parents say that after feeding Smalls, their cat is softer and shinier and has more energy to play.
Smalls recipes are over 80% protein, which helps your cat build the muscle they need, and they never use fillers or artificial ingredients.
Personally, I found that finding the right cat food is really difficult because in my case, I have one cat that will literally eat anything. Like you leave any morsel of food on the table, it just will eat it. The other cat's extremely picky, but with Smalls, they both enjoy it. It's the perfect fix.
If you're ready to find your forever cat food, Smalls is perfect for you, and for a limited time, because you're a nice coffee hour listener, you get 60% off your first order plus free shipping and free treats for life when you head to smalls.com/iced. That's 60% off your first order plus free shipping and free treats for life when you head to smalls.com/iced.
Thank you again to Smalls for sponsoring this podcast.